You think you can just waltz in here and take what's mine? Richard Harlan's voice boomed through the marble foyer of his Beverly Hills mansion. His face twisted in fury as he slammed the front door behind him. He caught Angela Thompson mid-stride, dustcloth in hand, frozen near the coffee table where he'd deliberately left his wallet bulging with $5 grand in cash. The trap was set, and now it sprang shut. Richard's eyes narrowed, zeroing in on her like a predator spotting weakness. He didn't wait for her to breathe, let alone speak. I knew it. All these months, things vanishing, jewelry, cash from the drawer. And now this? You picked the wrong house to rob, Angela. Angela's fists clenched at her sides, knuckles whitening against the dark fabric of her uniform. Her heart pounded, not from guilt, but from the raw sting of accusation. She'd spotted the wallet earlier, tucked it away in the drawer for safekeeping, assuming he'd dropped it in his rush. But now Richard lunged forward, snatching the wallet from the drawer himself, flipping it open to count the bills with trembling fingers. Every dollar's here? Don't play innocent. I saw you on the camera, hovering over it like a thief in the night. His words cut deep, laced with that unspoken edge, the kind that screamed her skin color made her suspect number one. He didn't say it outright, but it hung there, thick as smog over L.A. Richard's daughter Emily burst in from the kitchen, her eyes wide with shock. Dad, what the hell? Angela's been here for years. But Richard cut her off with a sharp wave, his jaw locked tight. Stay out of this, Em. This is between me and the help. The word help dripped with disdain, reducing Angela to a label, not the woman who'd bandaged Emily's scraped knees or cooked meals during Richard's endless business trips. Angela's chest tightened, breath coming short and sharp. She wanted to scream back, to shove the truth in his face, that she'd never touched a dime, that his paranoia was born from stories whispered at country clubs about those people. But he barreled on, dialing the police on his phone. Yeah, officer, I need to report a theft in progress. My maid, yeah, she's still here. The room spun for Angela, her mind flashing to her son at home, wheelchair-bound, waiting for her paycheck to cover his meds. This job was her lifeline, scraped together after years as a nurse, burned out from a system that chewed her up. Richard's accusation wasn't just words. It was a hammer smashing her world. He paced now, veins bulging in his neck. You people always think you can get away with it. Well, not in my house. There it was, the slip, the you people, that confirmed every fear she'd buried deep. Angela's nails dug into her palms, drawing tiny crescents of blood. She stood taller, refusing to crumple, even as tears threatened to spill. But she blinked them back hard, turning pain into steel. Emily grabbed her father's arm. Stop! You're making a mistake. Angela wouldn't. Richard shook her off, his face flushed red. I've got proof. The camera doesn't lie. He pulled up the footage on his phone, shoving it toward Angela's face. The video showed her picking up the wallet, examining it briefly, then sliding it into the drawer. To him, it screamed guilt. To her, it was just doing her damn job. The sirens wailed in the distance already, closing in like a noose. Richard's triumph faded just a flicker as he saw Angela's unyielding stare. Not fear, but quiet defiance that pierced him deeper than any shout. Get your things and get out, he snarled, but his voice cracked at the edges, a hint of doubt creeping in uninvited. Angela moved slowly, deliberately, gathering her bag from the hall closet. Her hands shook, but she forced them steady, each motion a silent protest against the injustice ripping through her. This wasn't the first time she'd faced this. Accused in her nursing days for a missing vial of meds, cleared but scarred. Richard watched, his pulse racing, expecting her to beg or break. Instead, she met his eyes one last time, the weight of generations of unspoken battles in her gaze. The police knocked at the door, and the trap he'd set snapped shut, not on her, but on the fragile trust he'd shattered forever. Save your breath. I don't want excuses, Richard snarled, his finger jabbing the air inches from Angela's face as the police pounded on the door again, louder this time. Angela's spine straightened like a rod of iron, her lips pressed into a thin line that screamed restraint. She wouldn't beg, wouldn't crumble under his glare that stripped her bare. Instead, she locked eyes with him, her gaze a blade slicing through his rage. You built this trap on lies you told yourself, Mr. Harlan. One day it'll snap back and crush you. Her words landed like a prophecy, heavy and unyielding, echoing in the charged silence before he could interrupt. Richard opened his mouth to fire back, but Angela turned sharply, her movements precise, each step a deliberate rejection of his power. She grabbed her coat from the hook, fingers gripping the fabric so tight her nails bit into the wool. Emily stepped forward, her voice cracking. Angela, wait. Dad's wrong. He has to be. But Richard cut in, his tone venomous. Emily, enough. She's out. End of story. Angela paused at the door, her chest heaving with controlled breaths, the weight of the accusation pressing down like a vice. She felt it, the burn of injustice, the echo of every time she'd been profiled, dismissed, reduced to a stereotype in scrubs or a uniform. Her son's face flashed in her mind, his smile depending on her strength, fueling her to hold firm. The officers burst in, badges flashing, hands on holsters. Ma'am, step aside. We need to search you. Angela raised her hands without hesitation, her chin lifted high, refusing to let humiliation show. They patted her down roughly, finding nothing but her keys and a worn photo of her boy in her pocket. Richard watched, his fists clenched, expecting triumph but feeling a twist in his gut instead. See? She's clean, for now. One cop grunted, but Angela's silence roared louder than any protest. She didn't flinch, didn't plead. Her dignity was her shield, cracking Richard's certainty just a hair. Emily's eyes filled with fury at her father. This is insane. Angela's family, she's the one who held us together when Mom left. Richard waved the cops toward her bag. Check it all, she's sneaky. Angela's jaw tightened, teeth grinding as they rummaged, spilling out her thermos and a crumpled receipt from the pharmacy, proof of her endless grind for meds that kept her son alive. Nothing incriminating surfaced, but Richard doubled down, his voice rising. She must have hidden it somewhere. Don't let her fool you. The cops exchanged glances, one muttering under his breath about overzealous homeowners. Angela finally spoke, her tone steady as steel. Fool me? You fooled yourself, sir. That wallet was safe where I put it. But trust? You've thrown yours away like trash. Her words pierced him, a quiet thunder that made his pulse stutter. Emily grabbed Angela's arm. Please don't go like this. Angela squeezed her hand gently, her touch warm despite the storm inside. I have to, honey, but remember, truth always rises. She shouldered her bag, stepping past the cops with head held high, her footsteps echoing defiance. Richard barked after her. You're fired. Don't come back. But as the door clicked shut behind her, Angela's parting glance burned into him. Not hatred, but pity that stung worse than any curse. The cops wrapped up, one handing Richard a card. Call if you find real evidence. Otherwise, this looks like a misunderstanding. Richard slammed the door after them, his breath ragged, the house suddenly too quiet, too empty. Emily stormed off, slamming her own door upstairs. Alone now, Richard's hands shook as he pocketed the wallet, that nagging doubt gnawing deeper, whispering he'd crossed a line he couldn't uncross. But the real unraveling? It was just beginning, lurking in the shadows of his regret. Damn it, she's gone. Good riddance, Richard barked to the empty foyer, his fist slamming the doorframe hard enough to rattle the crystal chandelier above. But the echo mocked him, hollow and accusing, as he stormed into his study, yanking out his phone to replay the camera feed. His thumb jabbed the screen, fast-forwarding through the grainy footage, expecting to catch her red-handed. Instead, the video froze his blood. Angela picking up the wallet, flipping it open, not to steal, but to count the bills with careful fingers, her lips moving in silent tally. She slid it into the drawer, then paused, pulling out a scrap of paper from her pocket, scribbling something quick before tucking it inside. No grab, no greed, just duty etched in every deliberate move. Richard's breath hitched, his chest caving like a punch to the gut. He rewound, zoomed in, his eyes burning into the screen. What the? The note. She'd left a note. He bolted back to the foyer, ripping open the drawer, the wallet tumbling out. His hands tore at the bills, and there it was. A folded scrap, her handwriting neat and unyielding. Found this on the table. Put it away. If it's a test, you failed yourself, not me. Angela. The words stabbed deep, twisting in his core. Failed himself? His knees buckled, dropping him into the nearest chair, the leather creaking under his weight. Sweat beaded on his forehead, not from heat, but from the acid churn of regret bubbling up. He'd called the cops, humiliated her in front of Emily, all on a hunch poisoned by whispers from his golf buddies, tales of unreliable help that always starred folks who looked like her. Emily's door creaked open upstairs, her footsteps thundering down. "Dad, you idiot! You just destroyed the one person who actually cares!" She charged in, face flushed, tears streaking her cheeks. Richard shot up, his voice cracking. "Emily, I had proof. I thought—" She cut him off, shoving his phone away. "Thought what? That's because she's black and cleans our messes? She's a thief? You're pathetic." Her words mirrored Angela's prophecy, slamming into him like dominoes toppling. First doubt, then shame crashing through his defenses. He gripped the wallet tighter, bills crumpling in his fist. The camera feed looped in his mind. Angela's steady hands, her quick glance around. Not sneaky, but vigilant, like a guardian protecting what wasn't hers to lose. His mind raced back. Jewelry gone from the safe, cash missing from his desk. He'd blamed her instantly, no questions, no pause. But now cracks formed. Emily's odd silences lately, her late nights out. Did you—" He started, but she spun away, slamming her hand on the table. "Don't turn this on me. Angela raised me more than you ever did after Mom bailed, and you just threw her out like garbage." Richard's throat tightened, words dying on his tongue. He paced, his shoes scuffing the marble, each step amplifying the void she'd left. The house felt colder, emptier, her absence a gaping wound. He rifled through the drawer again, desperate for more clues, and his fingers brushed something cold. A small, antique locket necklace, engraved with "Family Legacy" in faded script. It wasn't his, it wasn't Emily's. Where did it come from? He pocketed it absent-mindedly, the mystery nagging like a loose thread. But his focus shattered on the regret clawing inside. The cop's card burned in his pocket, a reminder of the line he'd crossed. Misunderstanding, they'd said, but this wasn't that. It was a wrecking ball he'd swung himself. Angela's face haunted him, not broken, but resolute, her silence a mirror forcing him to see the ugliness in his snap judgment. His pulse hammered, regret surging like bile. How many times had he dismissed her kindness, meals prepped, advice given, as just the job? Emily retreated upstairs, her door banging shut, leaving him alone with the wreckage. He sank back, staring at the note, the words blurring through unshed tears. This wasn't over, it couldn't be. But fixing it, that meant facing the monster he'd become, and the doubt gnawed deeper, whispering that the real thief might still lurk closer to home. The first crack in his world had formed, and the fracture lines were spreading fast. "I can't just let this rot inside me. Where the hell is she?" Richard snarled into his phone, his knuckles white on the steering wheel as he gunned the engine of his sleek Mercedes through the twisting streets of L.A., leaving Beverly Hills' polished gates behind. The locket burned in his pocket like a hot coal that engraved "Family Legacy," nagging at him. But Angela's note scorched deeper, her words replaying like a vicious loop. "You failed yourself." He punched the dashboard, pain shooting up his arm, but it didn't drown the regret clawing his throat. Emily's parting shot echoed too. "You're pathetic!" propelling him forward, tires screeching as he veered toward South Central, the address he dug from old payroll stubs clutched in his fist. Richard's pulse hammered, sweat slicking his brow despite the AC blasting. He cut off a truck, horn blaring behind him, but he didn't care. Doubt fueled him now, twisting into urgency. "She's gotta hear me out," he muttered, weaving through traffic, his mind flashing to her unyielding stare as she left. The neighborhoods shifted sharply. Manicured lawns gave way to cracked sidewalks, graffiti-splashed walls closing in. He slammed the brakes at a red light, fist pounding the wheel again. What if she's right? What if I blew it all on nothing? The light flipped green, and he floored it, the engine roaring in sync with his churning gut. Pulling up to Angela's rundown apartment building, Richard's jaw locked tight. He killed the engine, stepping out into the unfamiliar heat, his tailored suit sticking out like a sore thumb. Neighbors eyed him hard, suspicious glares that mirrored how he'd looked at her. He ignored them, pounding on her door with a fist that trembled. "Angela, open up! It's Harlan. We need to talk." No answer. His knocks grew frantic, knuckles bruising. A curtain twitched next door, an old woman's voice snapping through the screen. "She ain't home, mister. Left hours ago, looking like hell. Thanks to folks like you." Richard whirled, his face flushing. "Folks like me? I made a mistake, okay? Tell me where she went." The woman crossed her arms, her stare piercing. "Try the community center in Figueroa. She's always there, helping kids who have nothing. Unlike some." Richard's shoulders slumped, the jab landing square. He bolted back to the car, tires spinning gravel as he peeled out, the address punched into the GPS. "Community center? What the—" His mind raced. Angela, volunteering. The woman who'd scrubbed his floors was now lifting others? Shame surged hot and unrelenting as he cut through side streets, horns blaring at his reckless swerves. The center loomed, a squat building with peeling paint, kids spilling out front, laughter clashing with his inner storm. Richard parked crooked, storming inside, his shoes clicking on linoleum. "Where's Angela Thompson?" he demanded at the front desk, voice booming over the chatter. The receptionist, a young Latina woman, arched her brow. "Who wants to know?" He leaned in, breath ragged. "Her boss, ex-boss. I need to see her now." She pointed down the hall, skeptical. "Back room with the kids, but don't mess it up. She's gold here." Richard charged down the corridor, bursting into a room filled with children at tables, crayons flying. Angela stood at the front, mid-lesson, her back to him, voice steady as she guided a boy in a wheelchair through a drawing. "See? Grip it firm. Your story's in the lines." The boy grinned, but Angela spun at the intrusion, her eyes narrowing to slits. "You? Get out, now!" Kids gasped, chairs scraping as tension crackled. Richard stepped forward, hands up. "Angela, wait. I saw the video, the note. I was wrong. Dead wrong." She crossed her arms, body rigid, blocking the kids like a shield. "Wrong. You called the cops and humiliated me in front of Emily. And now you waltz in here expecting what? Absolution?" He cut closer, voice dropping urgent. "I panicked. Things missing, stories I heard. But that note, it gutted me." Angela's fists balled, nails digging palms again. "Stories? You mean the ones where black women like me are always the crooks? Save it, Harlan. You've got your mansion. I've got my life to rebuild." A kid tugged her sleeve. "Miss Angela, who's he?" She knelt, forcing a smile. "Nobody important, sweetie. Go back to your art." Richard's chest tightened, watching her gentleness amid the storm he'd unleashed. "Please, just 5 minutes. I drove across town, faced the stairs. I owe you." She stood, glare unwavering. "Owe me? You think an apology fixes the scar? The doubt you planted?" But her voice cracked just a fraction, exhaustion bleeding through. Richard pressed. "Let me make it right. Reinstate you, double pay." Angela laughed bitterly, sharp as a slap. "Money? That's your fix? Typical." Kids whispered, tension thickening. The boy in the wheelchair wheeled forward. "Mom, is everything okay?" "Mom?" Richard's eyes widened. Her son, the one she'd mentioned in passing, his legs braced, face innocent but watchful. Angela's hand shot to his shoulder, protective. "Fine, baby. This man's leaving." Richard froze, the boy's gaze hitting him like a mirror. Pure, unjudging, unlike his own poisoned view. Guilt crashed harder, waves pounding. "Your son! I didn't know he was here." Angela's eyes flashed fire. "You didn't know a lot. Like how I scraped by for his therapy, how this job kept us afloat. But you assumed thief." Richard stepped back, hands raking his hair. "I was blind. Let me help. For him." She hesitated, her grip on the boy's chair tightening. The room hung in suspense. Kids holding breath. Finally, Angela exhaled sharply. Not here. Outside. 2 minutes. They stepped into the hall, the door clicking shut. Richard leaned in. I replayed everything. The locket, I found it after. Family legacy. Mean anything? Angela's brow furrowed, a flicker of recognition. That? I found it weeks ago, tucked in a drawer. Thought it was yours. Richard's pulse quickened, the mystery deepening, but her pain overshadowed it. I'm sorry, truly, come back. She shook her head. Not that easy. You broke trust. Mine and yours. He nodded, defeat etching his face. Then tell me how to earn it. Angela's stare softened a notch, but steel remained. Start by facing what you really saw in me. Not the help. The person. Richard swallowed hard, the journey just cracking open, the road ahead twisting with shadows of his making. But as she turned away, that locket in his pocket felt heavier, hinting at secrets yet to unravel. Back off, Harlan. You've got your 2 minutes, but make 'em count. Angela snapped in the dim hallway of the community center, her arms crossed like a barricade, body angled to shield the door where her son and the kids waited inside. The fluorescent buzz overhead did nothing to soften her glare. Her fists clenched so tight her nails carved half-moons into her palms. Richard halted mid-step, his apology dying on his lips as she jabbed a finger at his chest. You think showing up here erases the cops at your door? The way you spat thief like it was my name? Her voice sliced sharply, each word a domino tipping the next. Pain into anger, anger into resolve. Richard's shoulders sagged, his face crumpling under her assault. I know. I screwed up massively. The video proved it. Please, Angela. She cut him off cold, stepping closer, her breath hot and ragged. Prove what? That I'm not the crook you painted me as? Big revelation, boss. But you didn't just fire me. You shredded my dignity in front of Emily, the cops, the whole damn world you live in. Her chest heaved, breaths short and fierce, the memory igniting fresh fire in her veins. Behind the door, muffled laughter from the kids filtered through, her world untouched by his chaos, where she poured every ounce of strength. Richard tried again. Let me fix it. Job back, pay bump, anything. Angela's laugh barked out, bitter and unyielding. Anything? Like erasing the stares I'll get now? The whispers that follow women like me? She pivoted sharply, yanking the door open, just a crack, peeking in at the room alive with color. Crayons scattering, kids huddled over drawings. Her son wheeling between tables with a grin that lit her up inside. See that? That's my real job. Not scrubbing your floors. These kids, fighting odds you can't imagine. Richard craned his neck, catching a glimpse. Angela's son, Jamal, high-fiving a girl over a finished sketch. His wheelchair no barrier to the joy radiating from him. Angela's hand gripped the doorknob tighter, knuckles paling. Jamal's got cerebral palsy, fights every day just to hold a pencil. I volunteer here because it keeps him strong, keeps me going. After nursing burned me out with accusations like yours, this became my anchor. Her voice dropped, raw edges showing. You think your money fixes that? Or the meds I skip meals for? Richard's gut twisted, his interruption faltering. I didn't know. About him, about any of it. Angela whirled back, eyes blazing. Didn't know? You never asked. 5 years in your house, and I was invisible. The help who vanished stains, but not the woman raising a fighter alone. She slammed the door shut, the thud echoing her fury. Jamal's voice piped through faintly. Mom, you okay out there? Angela's face softened for a split second, then hardened again. Fine, baby. Be right in. Turning to Richard, she leaned in close, breath brushing his face. This center, it's where I rebuild what folks like you break. Teaching these kids resilience. Art as therapy. Stuff that heals scars you can't see. Her fists unclenched just enough to gesture wildly. Last week, I helped a mom get funding for her daughter's braces. Yesterday, Jamal led a session on drawing your strength. That's power, not your wallet traps. Richard's voice cracked. Angela, I'm begging. Let me in on this. Help here, too. She shook her head, a wall slamming down. Earn it? Start by owning your poison. That locket you mentioned, family legacy? I found it hidden in your study drawer. like someone stashed it quickly. Didn't touch it, but it screamed trouble. Richard's hand flew to his pocket, fingers closing around the cold metal, a jolt running through him. Hidden! Who? Angela cut him short. Figure it out yourself. Your messes aren't mine anymore. She yanked the door open wider now, stepping back inside. The kids' cheers swallowing her as Jamal wheeled over, hugging her leg. Mom's the boss here, he beamed, oblivious to the storm. Richard stood rooted, watching her dive in, kneeling to fix a kid's grip on a brush, her laughter genuine, cutting through the regret choking him. She glanced back once, her nod curt. Time's up, Harlan. The door's that way. He backed away, the hallway stretching endlessly, her world a fortress he'd never breached. But that locket pulsed in his grip, whispering secrets tied back to his own shattered trust. The real hunt? It wasn't just for forgiveness. It was unraveling the web she'd glimpsed, pulling him deeper into shadows he couldn't ignore. Earn it? You think sorry cuts through the mess you made? Angela fired back in the community center hallway, her body coiled like a spring, fists balled at her sides as she blocked Richard's path, her breath coming in hot bursts that matched the fire in her eyes. The door to the kids' room clicked shut behind her, sealing off Jamal's innocent chatter, but the weight of his presence fueled her stance. Unbreakable, a mother's shield forged in years of battles. Richard recoiled a step, his hands raised in surrender, but she advanced, jabbing a finger into his chest. You barge in here, all regrets and promises, but where were you when I needed trust? Not cash, trust. Richard's jaw clenched, teeth grinding as her words hammered home, each one tipping the domino of his crumbling defenses. Angela, I get it. I was blind, poisoned by crap I shouldn't have believed. Let me prove it. She cut him off sharply, her voice a whip crack. Prove? Like your trap proved I'm a thief? Save the act, Harlan. I've got kids in there counting on me. Not your pity party. Her chest rose and fell rapidly, pulse thundering in her ears, the hallway narrowing to just them, her fury clashing with his desperation. Jamal's wheelchair creaked faintly through the door, a reminder spiking her protectiveness higher. Richard pressed forward. Name it. Anything to make this right. Angela's eyes narrowed to slits, her nails digging into her arms. Anything? Fine. Volunteer here. Not a check, a sweat equity. Help these kids see the world you ignore from your mansion. He nodded quickly, eagerness flashing. Done. Starting tomorrow. But Angela held firm, her stance unyielding. Not so fast. Double condition. Support Jamal's therapy fund. Not anonymously, face to face. Admit your screw up to him. Richard's face paled, his throat bobbing as he swallowed hard. To your son? Angela, that's... She interrupted, leaning in closer, breath brushing his collar. That's real. You broke more than my job. You shattered safety for folks like us. Own it. The air thickened, tension coiling tight, her demand for a gauntlet thrown. Richard's fists unclenched slowly, etching lines deeper into his brow. Okay, I will. God, I messed up badly. Angela's shoulders eased a fraction, but steel lingered in her gaze. Messed up? You weaponized lies. But yeah, peace, on my terms. They stepped outside the center, the door swinging shut with a thud that echoed her guarded truce. Richard pulled the locket from his pocket, holding it out like an olive branch. This thing, you said you found it hidden. Tell me more. Angela snatched it, her fingers tracing the engraving. Family legacy, a flicker of curiosity cutting through her anger. Yeah, in your study drawer, behind old files. Looks stashed quick, like someone didn't want it seen. Richard's eyes widened, his hands shooting out to grab it back. Hidden? That's my grandmother's. I thought it was lost years ago. Who the hell? Angela's brow furrowed, her grip tightening on the chain. Not me, that's for damn sure. But it smelled off, dusty, like it had been moved recently. She handed it over, their fingers brushing, a spark of unintended alliance amid the rubble. Richard turned it over, the metal cool against his palm, unlocking flashes. Evelyn, his old housekeeper, fired months back for attitude, always lingering in the study. Evelyn, she had access. Angela crossed her arms again, her stance shifting from defense to intrigue. Your ex-housekeeper, the one who glared daggers at me from day one? Wouldn't surprise me. She muttered crap about replacing her with cheap labor. Richard's pulse quickened, regret morphing into suspicion, the locket now a key twisting in a locked door. If she planted it, why? To frame you? Angela's laugh was short, edged. Frame or hide her own dirt? Dig deeper, Harlan. This piece, it's fragile till you clean your house. He nodded, pocketing the locket, the weight heavier now. Together? If you'll let me. Angela hesitated, her fists unclenching fully for the first time. Maybe, but break trust again? The door slammed shut. They parted with a tense nod, Richard heading to his car, engine roaring to life as he peeled away, mind racing through shadows. Angela watched him go, her hand on the center door, Jamal's voice calling from inside. Mom, story time. She exhaled sharply, stepping back in. But the locket's mystery lingered, a hook pulling her toward unraveling truths bigger than one man's apology. The fragile bridge they'd built creaked under new weight, secrets bubbling beneath, ready to erupt. You slimy little snake! Thought you could crawl back and steal what's mine? Evelyn's voice hissed through the cracked door of Richard's Beverly Hills mansion, her face twisted into a mask of venom as she shoved past the threshold uninvited, her nails digging into the wood like claws. Richard froze in the foyer, the locket still clutched in his fist from his tense truce with Angela, his pulse spiking at the sight of his ex-housekeeper. Fired months ago for insubordination, now barging in like she owned the place. Evelyn's eyes locked on the locket, narrowing to slits. That? You found it? Hand it over. Now! Her demand sliced the air, laced with a threat that made Richard's gut clench, his fingers tightening around the metal instinctively. Richard stepped back, his jaw locking hard. Evelyn, what the hell are you doing here? Get out before I call the cops again. But she advanced, her heels clicking sharply on the marble, body language screaming possession. Cops? For me? After you tossed me like trash and hired that woman to replace me? Her lip curled, the word woman dripping with disdain, aimed straight at Angela's skin, her status. The unspoken divide Evelyn had always wielded like a weapon. Richard's fist balled, regret from Angela's confrontation fueling his snap. Replace? You were lazy, sneaky, always lurking. Evelyn laughed, a bark that echoed cold. Sneaky? Pot calling the kettle, Harlan. That locket's mine by rights. Your grandma promised it when I cared for her, before you fired me over nothing. She lunged for it, her hand swiping air as Richard yanked back, his arm shooting out to block her. Nothing? Things went missing under your watch, too. Jewelry, cash, sound familiar? Evelyn's face flushed crimson, veins bulging in her neck. Lies, you blamed me for covering your own slop. Divorce mess, business flops. But I know secrets, Harlan, deep ones. Her words tipped dominoes, threat into revelation, her eyes flicking to the study door where the locket had been hidden. Richard's breath caught Angela's warning ringing. It smelled off, stashed quick. He shoved her shoulder. Secrets? Like planting evidence to frame Angela? Admit it. Evelyn recoiled, but her smirk flashed wickedly. Frame? Honey, I don't frame. I take what's owed. You owe me years of loyalty, and that trinket's just the start. Emily's voice cut in from the stairs, descending fast. Evelyn! Dad, what's going on? Evelyn whirled, her glare pinning the girl. Stay out, princess. This is adult business. Your dad's messes I cleaned before he ditched me for cheaper help. Richard interrupted, voice booming. Cheaper? You mean competent. Angela's worth 10 of you. Evelyn's hand shot out, grabbing his wrist, nails raking skin. Angela, that thief you finally saw through. Good riddance. But don't think you're safe. I know where the bodies are buried in this family. She twisted harder, pain shooting up his arm, but he wrenched free, shoving her back. Bodies? You're delusional. Get out. But Evelyn held ground, her chest heaving, breath ragged. Delusional? Check your safe. More's missing than you think. And that locket? Proof of your grandma's real will? The one you buried to keep the fortune? Richard's mind reeled, the locket burning in his palm, Angela's terms echoing. Clean your house. He grabbed her arm now, yanking her toward the door. Out, or I press charges for trespass, theft, whatever sticks. Evelyn resisted, her free hand clawing at his shirt. Charges? I'll spill everything. Your shady deals, the real reason I got fired. You think Angela's clean. I made sure she looked dirty. Her confession slipped, raw and unintended, tipping the scale. Richard's eyes widened, fury exploding. You what? Planted the missing stuff? To frame her? Evelyn's smirk faltered, her grip loosening. Frame? Survival, Harlan. You tossed me. I tossed back. Emily gasped, hand over mouth. You bitch! Angela was innocent! Evelyn spun toward Emily, finger jabbing. Innocent? Wake up, kid. She's an outsider. I was family. Richard's shove sent her stumbling out the door, her body slamming the frame. Family! You're poison! Stay away! He slammed it shut, the lock clicking, but Evelyn's pounding fists rattled through. This ain't over. You'll pay! Her voice faded as she stormed off, tires screeching outside. Richard leaned against the door, breath heaving, the locket's chain biting into his skin. Emily rushed down. Dad, she admitted it. Framing Angela. He nodded, throat tight. Yeah, but why the locket? What's she hiding? The piece fit jaggedly, Evelyn's thievery a web snaring them all, pulling Richard deeper into confrontation. Angela's peace terms now loomed larger. Volunteering tomorrow, but with this viper loose, trust's fracture threatened to shatter everything anew. Spill it, Evelyn. What's your real game with this locket? Richard snarled into his phone the next morning, his fingers crushing the device as he paced his study, the antique chain dangling from his other hand like a noose. Evelyn's laugh crackled through the speaker, sharp and mocking. Game? You're the one playing detective, Harlan. Hang it up before you dig too deep. He cut her off, voice booming. Too late. You admitted framing Angela. Now this family legacy crap? What's it hiding? She hung up with a click, but Richard's blood boiled, propelling him out the door, keys jangling as he slammed into his car, tires screeching toward Angela's community center. He burst through the doors, breath ragged, spotting Angela mid-session with the kids, her hands guiding Jamal's wheelchair through a craft table. Angela, we need to talk. Now! She whipped around, eyes flashing warning. Not here, outside! They stepped into the hall, her arms crossing tight, body language a wall. What? Are your volunteers starting early? Richard thrust the locket forward. Evelyn showed up, threatened us, eyed this like it was gold, said it's from Grandma's will, something buried. Angela snatched it, her fingers tracing the engraving again, pulse visible in her neck. Buried. I told you, it was stashed. Let's check your old files. If she's framing, there's proof. They piled into his car, Angela directing him to his own mansion, irony biting hard. Drive, fast, but no more assumptions. Richard gunned the engine, weaving through traffic, his knuckles white. Assumptions? She confessed bits. Planted stuff to get you fired. Angela's jaw tightened, teeth grinding. To get back at you? For firing her? He nodded sharply. Yeah, said I owed her. But why the locket? They screeched to a stop at the house, storming inside, Richard leading to the study. He yanked open drawers, papers flying. Here, old payroll, Evelyn's file. Angela rifled through, her hands steady despite the storm inside. Look, her termination notice. Insubordination. Vague. What's the real dirt? Richard's phone buzzed. Evelyn's number. He answered on speaker, voice steel. Talk. Why the threats? Her tone slithered. Threats? Protection, Harlan. That locket proves your grandma cut you out. Left it to loyal staff. Me, he interrupted. Lies. Grandma's will sealed. Everything to the family. Evelyn chuckled darkly. Sealed? Dig deeper. You'll regret. Click. Angela's eyes widened. She's bluffing. Or baiting. Check bank statements. They dove in, Richard pulling a laptop, fingers flying over keys. Here, transfers, Small ones to an account. Evelyn's alias. Angela leaned in, breath quick. Matches, dates, things went missing. She's siphoning, framing me to distract. Jamal's call was interrupted. Angela's phone was ringing. Mom? When are you home? Her voice softened. Soon, baby. Helping a friend. She hung up, resolved to harden. This ties to my firing. Let's tail her. Richard nodded, adrenaline surging. Her address, from files. They hit the road again. Richard's car hugging turns to Evelyn's rundown condo in the valley. Parking blocks away, they crept closer, hearts pounding. There, her car, Angela whispered, ducking behind a wall. Evelyn emerged, bags slung, glancing paranoid before driving off. Follow. Discreet, Richard hissed, peeling after her, tailing through LA traffic, horns blaring as he cut lanes. She's heading downtown. Storage units? Angela's fists clenched. Hiding spot. Pull back. She'll spot us. They parked distance, sneaking on foot to the unit gate. Evelyn unlocked a door, slipping inside. Richard jimmied the fence, wire cutters from his trunk, biting metal. In, quick! They burst into the unit, flashlights piercing dark, boxes stacked, jewelry glinting. Jackpot, Angela breathed, rifling a crate. You're missing rings, cash bundles, proof. Richard's hand shot to a file box. Documents, company leaks. She sold intel to rivals. Evelyn's voice echoed from the door. Nosy bastards! She slammed it shut, the lock clicking, trapping them. Panic surged. Richard banged fists on metal. Evelyn, open up! Her laugh muffled outside. Rot in there. Cops will find you snooping. Angela's breath came short, clawing at seams. Phone, signal? Richard checked. Dead, jammed. They tore through boxes, frantic. Angela's hands shaking but steady. Here, ledger. Transfers to offshore. She's embezzling years. Richard's eyes lit. And emails, blackmailing me? Wait, Grandma's real will. She forged it. Angela's nail scraped a hidden compartment. Photos, Evelyn with your business partners. Betrayal, inside job. The air thickened, claustrophobia clawing, but clues piled, dominoes falling. Theft to frame, frame to cover leaks, leaks to ruin. Richard, sirens wailed distant. Evelyn's call. Richard kicked the door, denting the metal. We need out. Angela wedged a crowbar from a box, prying seams. Together, push! They heaved, door buckling, bursting free as cops arrived. Evelyn fled, tires screeching. Stop her, Richard yelled, but she vanished. Angela clutched the ledger, breath heaving. Evidence, solid, but she's loose. Richard nodded, cops swarming. We hand this over. Nail her. The hall spilled secrets wider. Angela's frame up just the tip, pulling them deeper into the web. But as they drove to the station, ledger burning in her lap, the full betrayal loomed, ready to explode. You think this ledger's your ticket out? Burn it. Now! Evelyn's scream ripped through the abandoned storage unit's shadows as she lunged back inside, wrench in hand, swinging wildly at Richard's head. He dodged, the metal whistling past his ear, smashing a crate instead, papers exploding like shrapnel. Angela dove low, snatching the fallen ledger, her fingers locking around it like vice grips, heart slamming against her ribs. No way, you're done, Evelyn. This proves everything. Evelyn whirled, eyes wild, breath heaving in ragged gas. Proves! You idiots! You don't know half! She charged Angela, wrench raised high, but Richard tackled her mid-swing, pinning her arms, his knee digging into her back. Spit it! The truth, all of it! Evelyn bucked under him, teeth bared like a cornered animal. Truth? Fine, twist my arm. She spat literally, her body twisting violently, but Richard held firm, muscles straining, sweat stinging his eyes. Angela flipped the ledger open, pages fluttering frantically under her thumbs. Transfers, thousands to your account. But this, Grandma's will? Forged signatures? Evelyn's laugh choked out, muffled against the concrete. Forged? Smart girl. Your precious grandma didn't leave it all to you, Harlan. She saw your greed, cut you out for the loyal ones. Me! Richard's grip tightened, knuckles whitening, rage boiling over. Lies! She sealed that will years ago. Family only. Evelyn twisted her head, glaring up. Sealed? I unsealed it. Swapped pages. That locket? Key to the real vault. Stocks. Deeds. I deserved it after years of slaving for your clan. Angela's breath caught, her hands shaking as she tore into the hidden compartment deeper. Photos tumbling out, yellowed edges curling. These, you with Richard's dad? Intimate? Evelyn's body went rigid, fighting, draining a beat. Shut up! That was ages ago, before he ditched me for his proper wife. Promise me the world, leave me scraps. Richard's hold faltered, shock slamming him. My dad? With you? That's why the grudge? Evelyn surged up, elbow jabbing his ribs hard, pain exploding as she broke free, scrambling for the wrench. Grudge? Justice! He fathered my kid, your half-sibling, then buried it. I took what's mine, framed your maid to distract, leaked your deals to rivals for cash. The locket unlocks the safe, his confession letter inside. Angela lunged, grabbing Evelyn's ankle, yanking her down mid-scramble, the wrench clanging away. Confession? You're a blackmailer, thief. Evelyn kicked free, boot connecting with Angela's shoulder, jolt shooting through her arm. Thief! He stole my life. You think firing me was the end? I planted everything, jewelry in her quarters, cash trails, to ruin you both. Richard recovered, pinning her again, his knee pressing her chest. Half-sibling? Proof. Now. Evelyn's eyes darted to the photos, faded shots of her young, swollen belly, a man matching his dad's profile. There, your blood disowned. I raised him alone, bitter. That will? I forged to claim half of Lockett's engraving codes, the safe combo. Angela rifled the compartment further, pulling a sealed envelope, torn open. Letter, your dad's handwriting. Evelyn, the child's mine. I'll provide secretly, but no scandal. Dates match. Your birth year offset. Richard's world spun, betrayal crashing like waves, his grip slackening. Dad, cheated? Hide a kid? Evelyn smirked through pain. Bingo, I stole the locket years back, waited for revenge. Framed Angela to buy time, siphon funds. You're firing her? Bonus, hit your diversity hire where it hurts. Angela's fury ignited, her knee pressing Evelyn's throat. Diversity? You racist witch. Used my skin as bait, Evelyn choked. Survival. Now you know. Release me, or I scream to the press. Sirens wailed closer, cops en route from Richard's earlier call. Richard zip-tied her wrists with cord from a box, his hands shaking. No press, you're done. This letter, ledger, nails you for forgery, theft, blackmail. Evelyn thrashed. You'll regret. Family secrets destroyed. Angela stuffed a rag in her mouth, silencing the venom. Destroy? We will rebuild. They hauled her up as cops breached the door, badges flashing. Hands up. What's this? Richard thrust the evidence forward. Arrest her. Full confession. My ex-housekeeper. Embezzler. Forger. Cops cuffed her, Evelyn's muffled screams fading as they dragged her out. Richard and Angela slumped against crates, breath sinking in exhaustion, the letter's weight crushing. My dad? A liar? Half-sibling out there? Angela's hand squeezed his shoulder. Truth hurts, but it's out. We will end this. Cops sealed the unit, evidence bagged. But as they walked to the car, the locket's code burned in Richard's mind. Vault waiting, more skeletons lurking. The betrayal ran deeper than theft, ripping family roots, setting the stage for the final showdown. Backstabber, thought you could bury me with your filthy secrets? Evelyn's screech tore through the dim warehouse on the outskirts of L.A., her wrench swinging like a scythe as she charged Angela from the shadows, eyes blazing with cornered rage. Angela dodged left, the metal grazing her arm, tearing fabric and drawing blood that stung sharply, her breath exploding in gasps. Evelyn, stop! We have the proof, the letter, the forgeries. But Evelyn lunged again, her body a whirlwind of fury, nails raking air inches from Angela's face. Proof! I'll smash it, and you! The wrench connected with a crate beside Angela, wood splintering like bones cracking, shards flying as Angela stumbled back, her shoulder slamming a metal shelf, pain jolting through her frame. Richard burst through the side door, breath heaving from the chase, his fists pumping. Angela! Get away from her! He tackled Evelyn mid-swing, arms locking around her waist, slamming her to the concrete with a thud that echoed his own thudding heart. Evelyn twisted viciously, elbow jabbing his eye, stars exploding in his vision. You fool, always blind. That half-sibling? Mine by your dad. Disowned, like me. She kneed his groin, agony ripping up his gut, forcing him to loosen his grip. Angela recovered, grabbing Evelyn's wrist, wrench clattering away. Disowned? That's your excuse for theft? For framing me? Evelyn's free hand clawed Angela's cheek, nails drawing red lines that burned like fire. Framing? Survival. You took my spot, the diverse hire stealing my life. Angela's teeth gritted, pain fueling her shove. Evelyn stumbled into shelves, boxes tumbling in a cascade of dust and debris. Stealing? I earned it. Clean, honest. Unlike your blackmail. Evelyn sprang up, grabbing a loose pipe, swinging it wildly. Honest? Black woman in a white mansion, always suspect. I made sure of that. The pipe whistled, clipping Richard's shoulder as he shielded Angela, fabric ripping, blood welling hot. Suspect? You racist hag, that's your poison! He charged, disarming her with a yank, pipe clanging far. Evelyn kicked his shin, bone-cracking pain shooting up his leg. Poison? Your family's rotten core. Dad's affair, my kid's proof. I forged the will to claim half. Lockett unlocks the vault with his full confession. Angela circled, breath short, grabbing a rope from the floor, looping it quickly around Evelyn's flailing arms. Confession? We have it. Your game's up. Evelyn bucked wild, headbutting Angela's chin, teeth clashing in a jolt. Up? I'll drag you down. Press knows your Maid story now. Richard pinned her legs, knee grinding her thigh. Press? You leaked it. To destroy us? Evelyn's laugh gasped out. Destroy? Payback? Fired me for spotting your dad's dirt. Now you pay. She bit his hand, teeth sinking deep, blood flowing as he yelped, grip slipping. Angela tightened the rope, her muscles screaming, sweat mixing with blood on her cheek. Pay? For your lies? The embezzling? Offshore accounts? Evelyn thrashed, rope burning her wrists. Lies? Truth? Your grandma knew. Left me scraps in the real will. I swapped it. Framed you to buy time. Richard's fist clenched, holding back a punch. Swapped? That's forgery. Felony. Evelyn's knee jerked up, missing his face by inches. Felony? Your dad's bastard child? That's the scandal. I raised him alone. Bitter. Broke. Stole to fund. Leaked your deals for revenge. Angela's eyes widened, rope pulling taut. Revenge? On innocent folks? Evelyn's body sagged a beat, then surged anew, shoulder ramming Angela's chest, wind knocking out. The warehouse door rattled. Cops? No. Wind. Evelyn used the distraction, head slamming Richard's nose, blood spurting hot. Innocent? Harlan's breed greed. Now die with it. She broke partially free, scrambling for the wrench again, but Angela tripped her, body crashing down. Die? You're the killer here. Secrets, murder, trust. Richard wiped blood, pinning her fully. Trust? You shattered mine. Families. Evelyn's final twist failed, breath defeated. Shattered? Wait till the vault opens. More dirt on your dad. Affairs, bribes, your empire crumbles. Sirens wailed really now, closing in. Angela bound her wrists tighter, breath stabilizing. Crumble? Not today. We end this. Richard nodded, blood dripping, the vault's code from the locket burning in his pocket, next step unlocking horrors. But as cops breached, Evelyn's glare promised war, the danger peaking, but secrets deeper, beckoning the final hunt. Unlock that vault now, or watch your empire crumble under my boot. Evelyn's muffled threats spat through the rag in her mouth as cops hauled her away in cuffs, her body twisting like a snake in their grip, eyes locked on the locket dangling from Richard's bloodied hand. Angela clutched her throbbing shoulder, breath coming in sharp bursts, the warehouse chaos still echoing in her ears. Splintered wood, clanging metal, her cheeks fresh scratches burning like accusations. We got her, but the vault? That's the endgame, Angela hissed, snatching the locket, her fingers prying it open, revealing a tiny dial engraved with numbers. Codes here. Family legacy letters match digits. Your dad safe? Richard nodded quickly, wiping blood from his nose, pain pulsing but adrenaline overriding. Home office, hidden panel. Let's move, before she lawyers up. They bolted to his car, tires screeching out, Angela dialing the center. Jamal? Mom's okay. Stay with Miss Rosa. Her voice cracked, maternal fire clashing with the hunt's urgency. Richard floored it through the LA streets, horns blaring as he swerved. That letter, Dad's confession. If Evelyn's right, more dirt inside. Angela's jaw set hard, teeth clenching. Dirt! We dig it all. Nail her for good. They screeched into the driveway, storming inside, Richard slamming the study door, shoving his desk aside to reveal the wall safe. Combo LAG 12117. The dial spun under his trembling fingers, a click echoing like a gunshot. The safe popped open, paper spilling, yellowed envelopes, stock certificates, a dusty ledger thicker than the one from storage. Angela dove in, hands rifling frantically. Here, original will. Grandma left Evelyn a pittance for service. But Dad added a note. Sever ties, affair over. Richard's fists balled, knuckles whitening. Affair? Confirmed. And this, birth certificate, half-brother, named after Dad. Angela's eyes widened, flipping pages. Wait, bank wires to Evelyn post-birth. Hush money. But look, recent ones. She's blackmailing others. Your rivals. Names, amounts, proof of leaks. Richard grabbed a photo stack, Evelyn young with Dad, then older, with shady figures. She sold company secrets, using Dad's dirt as leverage. That's how she funded the forgeries. Evelyn's phone call buzzed. Richard's cell. He answered the speaker. Harlan, you think cuffs stop me? That vault's my ace. Destroy it. Richard cut her. Ace, we have it open. Your blackmail web exposed. Evelyn's voice cracked frantically. Exposed! Burn it! Or I tell the press your dad's bastard spawn. Angela interrupted, voice steel. Press? We'll beat you. Full confession coming. Click, Evelyn hung, but sirens wailed distant again. Cops? Or her backup? Richard yanked more files. Here, USB drive, labeled insurance. Plug it. Angela snatched his laptop, drove clicking in, files loading, videos, emails. Footage. Evelyn planting jewelry in my quarters. The camera she installed. Richard's face paled. She spied on us all? The drive revealed deeper. Emails to rivals. Harlan's deals. Yours for cash. Angela's fingers flew. And this. Dad's full letter. Evelyn, the child's mine. But no claim. Take the money. Vanish. Richard's knees buckled, slumping against the wall. Pain from bruises mixing with betrayal's stab. Vanish. She didn't. Twisted it into revenge. Angela pulled him up. Revenge? We counter. Copy this drive. She duplicated files swiftly, USB ejecting. Now, safe house? Evelyn's condo. More there. Richard nodded, pocketing the drive. Go, before she sends goons. They raced to Evelyn's Valley condo, breath sinking in tension, Richard kicking the door in. Lock splintering. Inside, chaos. Drawers yanked but clues scattered. Angela rifled through a desk. Here, burner phone. Texts. Frame the maid. Distract Harlan. To an unknown number. Richard smashed a lockbox open. Passports. Fakes. She's planning a flight. A noise. Footsteps outside. Someone's coming, Angela whispered, diving behind furniture. The door creaked. A thug bursting in, gun drawn. The boss said clean house. Where's the drive? Richard ambushed, tackling from the side, fist connecting jaw with a crack. Not yours! The thug swung, barrel grazing Richard's temple, stars bursting. Angela grabbed a lamp, smashing his head. Thud, body slumping. Breath heaving, they searched the thug. Wallet with Evelyn's card. Hired muscle. She's desperate. Angela pocketed it. In this, hard drive. More files? They plugged into her laptop on site. Password cracked quickly. Videos, Evelyn forging the will, time-stamped, and victim lists, folks she blackmailed. Richard's eyes hardened. Victims, innocent families ruined for her grudge. Angela nodded. Full circle. Her half-kid. Abandoned like she claims Dad did. A text pinged the burner. Goods secured. Cops closing. They bolted. Evidence clutched. Thugs stirring behind. Back in the car, speeding to the station, Angela's phone rang. Center. Mom? Bad man's here. Asking for you. Her blood froze. Jamal, hide. We're coming. Richard swerved. Evelyn's goon. At the center. Panic surged, Angela's fist pounding dash. Faster. My boy's there. They screeched to the center, bursting in. Kids screaming. A second thug grabbing Jamal's chair. Where's the maid? Hand the drive. Angela charged, maternal fury exploding, tackling him, nails raking his face. Touch my son. Die. Richard piled on, fists flying, subduing him as staff called cops. Evidence safe. Thugs down. But Evelyn's web sprawled wider. Blackmail ring, forged legacies, abandoned blood. Angela hugged Jamal tight, breath steadying. We got it all. Richard nodded. But expose her, publicly. The final piece locked, ready for the unmasking. Shadows retreating, but vengeance's echo lingering. You pathetic worms! Think that drive seals my fate? Evelyn's roar exploded in the packed conference room at Richard's Beverly Hills office, her cuffed hands jerking against the cop's grip as she lunged toward the projector screen where the damning video played, her own face forging documents, planting jewelry in Angela's quarters. The room, board members, lawyers, press hounds, gasped collectively, chairs scraping as tension detonated. Richard slammed his fist on the table, his voice thundering. Fate? You sealed it yourself. Blackmail, forgery, theft. Watch. He jabbed the remote, footage looping, Evelyn's confession in the warehouse, her wrench swings, the hidden half-sibling birth cert flashing clear. Evelyn twisted wildly, elbowing a cop, her face contorted in fury. Lies, doctored, all of it. But Angela stepped forward, USB drive thrust high like a weapon, her cheek scratches still raw, voice slicing clean. Doctored? Your words, your face, admitting the affair with his dad, the abandoned kid, the embezzled cash. The screen froze on Evelyn's smirking confession. I framed the maid, survival. Board members muttered, heads shaking, dominoes tipping, shock to outrage. A lawyer bolted up. This is slander. Shut it down. Richard cut him. Slander. Evidence. Irrefutable. She leaked deals, forged Grandma's will for half the estate. He flung the original copy across the table, pages slapping wood. Evelyn charged the screen, chains rattling, but cops yanked her back, her body slamming a chair that toppled with a crash. Half? Deserved. Your dad promised. Then ditched me pregnant, Angela interrupted, advancing with the locket dangling. Promised? Blackmail letters prove you extorted him. Hush money for years. The press snapped photos, flashes blinding, questions erupting. Mr. Harlan, comment on the half-sibling? Richard's jaw locked, teeth grinding as he faced the cameras. Comment? Betrayal runs deep, but truth puts it. Evelyn's ring, embezzling from my company, framing Angela to cover. Evelyn's knee bucked, kicking a table leg, water glasses shattering. Cover? You fired me, replaced with her. Outsider scum. Angela's fists balled, nails digging palms, fury boiling. Scum? Racist trash. You use my color as bait. She hit play on another clip. Evelyn's voice. Black woman in a white mansion. Always suspect. The room erupted, board chair pounding gavel. Order! This exposes fraud. Company leaks cost millions. Richard piled on, shoving the USB forward. Millions? Here's the trail. Her offshore accounts, rival payoffs. She sold secrets, ruined lives. Evelyn's eyes darted desperately, body sagging then surging anew, head-butting a cop's chin with a crack. Ruined? Your family's poison. Dad's bastard kid proves it. Gasps rippled, press scribbling frantically. The Lockett's vault code, dialed earlier, unlocked on screen. Dad's full letter projecting large. Evelyn, child's mine, but no scandal. Take the cash, vanish. Richard's voice cracked. Vanish? You twisted it into vengeance. Forged will. Framed innocence. Angela grabbed the mic. Innocence, like me, fired, humiliated. But here's the flip. Your half-kid, we traced, alive, broke because you siphoned their fun. Evelyn's face drained bloodless, body slumping. No, lies. But Richard hit the final file, bank records scrolling, transfers from Dad's hush fund to Evelyn, then diverted to her luxuries. Lies? Numbers don't. You stole from your own blood. Cops tighten cuffs, Evelyn thrashing. Blood? I'll sue. Expose the Harlan filth. The board chair stood. Sue? We're pressing charges. Fraud. Extortion. Press swarmed, mics thrusting. Miss Thompson, your take? Angela's chin lifted, voice steady. Take. Justice. Finally. She preyed on trust, race, and greed. But we flipped it. Exposed. Evelyn's final lunge failed, cops dragging her out, her screams fading. You'll pay, all of you. The room settled, applause tentative then thundering, Richard's shoulders easing, but Angela's hand on his arm grounded him. Exposed, but scars remain. As doors swung shut on Evelyn's exit, Richard faced the crowd. This ends the lies. Company reforms start now. Angela nodded, the drive secure in her pocket, the Lockett's weight lifted. But as the press filed out, an anonymous text buzzed Richard's phone. She's down, but the half-sibling watches. The unmasking was complete, but loose threads dangled, pulling toward resolution's edge. You'll rot in hell for this betrayal. Your own blood turned poison. Evelyn's final screech pierced the courtroom as the judge's gavel slammed down, her cuffed wrists jerking against the bailiff's iron grip, body convulsing in a last-ditch thrash that sent papers scattering across the defense table. The room, packed with press, board members, Angela's center kids peeking from the back, held its breath, tension snapping like a wire. Judge Ramirez's voice boomed. Evelyn Marks, guilty on all counts, forgery, embezzlement, blackmail, assault. Evelyn lunged forward, chains rattling, her face a mask of twisted fury. Guilty? This family's the criminal. Harlan's dad spawned me a bastard kid and ditched us. Richard shot up from the witness bench, fists slamming the rail, veins bulging in his neck. Ditched? You extorted him. Stole from your own child. The bailiff yanked Evelyn back, her boot kicking air inches from the prosecutor's shin. Extorted? Survival. After he buried the truth. Angela stood beside Richard, her chin high. Scratches from the warehouse faded but resolve etched deep, her hand clamping his arm. Truth? You framed me, used my skin as your scapegoat. Evelyn whirled, spitting venom. Scapegoat? Black maid in a white empire. Easy target. I made you look like a thief to cover my tracks. The judge's gavel cracked again, silencing the eruption. Order. Ms. Marks' life of crime ends here. 20 years, no parole. Pay restitution, full estate value to victims. Evelyn's body sagged, then surged anew, head-butting the bailiff's chest with a thud. Victims? Harlan's the victimizer. His dad's affair ruined me. Bailiffs piled on, pinning her arms, her knees buckling under the weight, breath heaving in defeated gas. Richard's pulse thundered, betrayal's echo still stinging. Ruined? You ruined families, leaked deals, forged wills for greed. Angela's voice cut in, steady blade. Greed? Your half-kid? Starved because you siphoned their fund. Justice now. For them, for me. Evelyn's eyes locked on Angela, hatred boiling. Justice? You'll pay. The press knows the Harlan bastard's secret, but the prosecutor thrust the sealed envelope forward. Secret? Confessed? Documented? Your blackmail ring dismantled. Assets seized. To charity. Evelyn's final kick missed, body dragged out, screams fading down the hall. Charity? My due! The door slammed, the echo lingering like a ghost. The room exhaled, murmurs rising, press scribbling, board nodding approval. The judge addressed Richard. Mr. Harlan, your testimony sealed it. Case closed. Richard nodded, throat tight, gripping Angela's hand. Closed. Wounds open, but healing starts. Angela squeezed back, her chest rising steadily. Jamal wheeling up from the aisle, a grin splitting his face. Mom, you won! She knelt, hugging him fiercely, tears held by sheer will. We won, baby! Truth out! The board chair approached, hand extended. Harlan, company safe now. Leaks plugged. Richard shook it firmly. Safe? Reforms coming. No more blind spots. The press swarmed. Miss Thompson? Framed Maid to hero? Angela's gaze pierced the cameras. Hero, survivor, exposing rot like hers. Nods rippled, applause building. As Evelyn's van peeled away outside, sirens fading, Richard turned to Angela. Restitution, half to your center. She nodded, resolved firmly. And the half-sibling? Find them. Make right. His jaw set. Will do. The gavel's final echo sealed knots. Forgery fines paid. Embezzled funds redistributed. Blackmail victims compensated. Evelyn's empire crumbled, her cell waiting cold. Angela stood taller, scars fading, justice's weight lifting. But as they exited Jamal's wheelchair rolling smoothly, an anonymous letter slipped under the door. Half-sib watches ready to claim. Loose ends tied, but new threads dangled, hope's path opening wide. You call that justice? Handcuffs on her wrist don't erase the scars she carved into this family. Fix it, or you're no better than your dad. Angela's voice cracked like a whip in the courthouse hallway, her finger jabbing Richard's chest, body vibrating with unresolved fire, as Evelyn's prison van peeled away outside, sirens fading but echoes pounding in her ears. Richard recoiled, his tie askew from the trial's grind, fists clenching at his sides. Fix? I testified, exposed everything. What more? Angela advanced, her breath hot, nails digging into her palms. More? Words in court? Bull action. Your empire's tainted by her poison. Clean it, or it's all hollow. Richard's jaw locked, teeth grinding as her demand slammed home. Dominoes tipping. Guilt into resolve. Resolve into surge. Action? Fine. Starting now. He yanked his phone, dialing the board chair mid-stride, voice booming. Convene emergency meeting. Company-wide reforms. No delays. Angela crossed her arms, stance unyielding. Reforms? Lip service. Make it count. For folks like me, framed, dismissed. He nodded sharply, hanging up. Count? Diversity overhaul. Hiring audits. Bias training mandatory. And the embezzled funds? Redirect to community grants. Her eyes narrowed. Grants? For whom? Your guilt. Richard's fist pounded the wall, pain shooting up his arm. Guilt? Fuel. Your center. First recipient. Expand it. Therapy wing for kids like Jamal. They stormed to his car, Angela slamming the passenger door, her chest heaving. Therapy wing. Flashy, but personal. Find that half-sibling. Make amends. Richard floored the accelerator, tires screeching. Amends. Tracked him already. Private eye report incoming. His phone buzzed. PI's text. Located, San Diego, struggling mechanic, knows nothing. Angela's hand shot to the dashboard. Nothing? Tell him. Blood tie, support without strings. Richard swerved lanes, horns blaring. Strings? Offer an education fund, a job at the firm, if they want. She nodded curtly. If, keyword, no force. At the office, the board waited, suits fidgeting, eyes darting as Richard burst in, Angela at his flank. Listen up. Evelyn's rot stops here. New policy, anonymous reporting for discrimination. Zero tolerance. Cher interrupted. Costly. Shareholders. Richard cut him. Shareholders? Screw 'em. Ethics first. And a foundation, Harlan Hope Fund, $1 million seed for underserved workers, single parents. Angela stepped up, voice steel. Underserved? Like black maids framed? Fund scholarships, legal aid against bias? The board murmured, nodding at the building. Richard piled on. Legal aid? Partner with civil rights groups. And me, volunteering weekly at Angela's center. Jamal's call buzzed Angela's phone. Mom, home soon? Drawing for you. Her voice softened. Soon, baby. Big changes are coming. She hung up, turning to Richard. Changes? Prove it. Public announcement. He grabbed the mic in the conference room, press already swarming from trial buzz. Harlan Enterprises announces reforms, ending bias blind spots, and the fund honoring those wronged, like Angela Thompson, a hero who exposed the truth. Cameras flashed, questions erupting. Ms. Thompson, your role? Angela gripped the podium, knuckles paling. Role? Survivor to leader, overseeing the fund. No more silent victims. Richard's half-sib search hit pay dirt, PI report in hand. Name's Alex, mechanic shop, debts piling. He drove south, Angela insisting. Together, or it reeks of charity. They pulled up to the garage, oil stench hitting, Alex wrenching under a hood, grease-streaked. Alex Marks? Richard's voice cut through the engine hum. Alex straightened, wiping hands, eyes wary. Who's asking? Angela stepped forward. Family, long lost. Your mom, Evelyn, she's in prison. But your dad was his. Alex's wrench dropped, clanging. Dad, Harlan, the tycoon who ghosted? Richard's throat tightened. Ghosted? Yes, but I'm fixing it. Fun for you. Education. Shop expansion. No strings. Alex's fists balled. Strings? Mom ranted about abandonment. Now this? Angela's hand on his arm. Abandonment? We know. Fought her web. Take it. Break the cycle. Alex's shoulders slumped, then straightened. Cycle? Okay, but meet on my terms. Richard nodded. Terms. Fair. Back north, the fun launched. Ribbon-cut expanded center. Jamal wheeling first through therapy doors, grin wide. Mom, my room! Angela hugged him, tears held back. Yours. Thanks to change. Richard addressed the crowd. Change? Overdue. Harlan Hope. For every overlooked soul. Board-approved policies. Bias training rolled. Hires diversified. Richard volunteered, sleeves rolled. Teaching finance to center teens. Sweat mixing with redemption. Questions? A kid jabbed. You rich, why care? He met eyes. Cared late, but fierce now. Angela watched and stance softening. Fierce? Proves it. The half-sib integrated slowly. Alex visiting, tools in hand, bonding over grease. Brother? Richard gripped his shoulder. Yeah, late, but real. As grants flowed, single moms funded, biases uprooted, Richard faced Angela. Enough? She squeezed his hand. Start. Keep pushing. The fund's first gala loomed, hope's beacon, but whispers of Evelyn's appeals lingered, testing the rebuild. You think a fancy fund wipes the slate clean? Erases the frame job that nearly broke me? Angela's challenge sliced through the ribbon-cutting crowd at the expanded community center, her fingers stabbing Richard's chest, body electric with lingering fire as confetti rained down. Jamal's wheelchair spinning in joy nearby. Richard froze mid-clap, his suit jacket tugging tight, fist clenching at the jab. Wipe? No, build on it. Look around. Therapy wings open, grants flowing. What more? Angela advanced, breath hot, nails biting her palms. More? Live it. Not just fund. Be the change, or it's hollow hype. Richard's jaw set hard, teeth grinding as her words ignited resolve. Dominoes cascading. Defiance to partnership, partnership to unbreakable bond. Hollow? Watch. He grabbed the mic from the podium, voice booming over the cheers. Harlan Hope Fund isn't a check. It's a family rebuild. Angela leads. I'm her shadow, volunteering daily. The crowd hushed, eyes locking. Jamal wheeling forward. Shadow? Dad, teach me finance like you promised the kids. Richard knelt, hugging him fiercely, chest tightening. Promised? Starting now, champ. Angela's stance softened a notch, hand on Jamal's shoulder. Now? Prove it. Every day. Months blurred, center thriving, Richard's sleeves rolled in sessions, his hands guiding teens through budgets, sweat beading as a girl slammed her notebook. Rich guy, why care? He met her glare. Cared late, scarred by blindness. Learn from my mess. Angela watched from the door, her arms uncrossing, warmth creeping. Mess? You're mending. Grants poured. Single moms housed, bias training packed, company hires diversified. Richard's half-sib, Alex, showed up at the garage-turned-workshop event, tools clanging. Brother, this fund fixed my shop debts. Richard gripped his shoulder. Debts? The family pays forward. No owe. Alex's wrench dropped, crushing. Forward! Mom's poison, but you're an antidote. Evelyn's appeals failed. Prison walls closing tighter, her venom silenced by iron bars. Richard visited once, chains rattling as she sneered. Antidote? You'll crumble. Like Dad. He stood tall. Crumble? We rose. Your kid included. Her face cracked, regret flickering. Included? Too late. He walked out, door clanging, freedom's weight lifting. Back at the center, Angela pulled him aside. Visit? Why? His voice is steady. Closure. For us all. She nodded, hand slipping into his. Us? Family now. Twisted path, but ours. Jamal's art show capped it. Walls alive with drawings, his wheelchair centerpiece, grin wide as donors oohed. This one's you, Mr. Richard. Hero cape. Richard's throat lumped, kneeling. Hero? You're the strength, kid. Angela beamed nearby, her embrace pulling them close. Strength? Collective? We built this. Board called. Profits up from ethical shifts. Shifts? Your lead. Richard waved off. Lead? Team. Angela's vision. Press hailed. Harlan's redemption. From trap setter to trailblazer. The half-sib bonded deeper. Alex teaching mechanics at the center. Grease-streaked hands high-fiving Jamal. Uncle Alex, wheelchair mods. Your ride flies now. Jamal whooped, spinning. Flies? Thanks. Richard watched, chest swelling. Thanks? Blood mends. Angela leaned in. Mends. Lesson learned. Trust blind spots kill, but light heals. Evenings shifted. Dinners at Angela's modest home. Laughter echoing. Richard chopping veggies clumsily. Chef? Not my forte. She hip-bumped him. Forte? Hard as... Keep chopping. Emily joined, hugging Angela. Mom figure. Finally. Tears welled, hugs crushing. One gala night, spotlights hit Richard on stage with Angela, metal gleaming. Award? For her, not me. She flipped my world. The crowd roared, but Angela pulled him close. World? Ours now. Shared. Jamal wheeled on stage. Shared. Family puzzle. Complete. Richard lifted him, voice cracking. Complete? Lesson. Assumptions shatter, but amends rebuild. Don't judge skin, status, see soul. Angela nodded. Soul? That's the core. Hope rises from ashes. Years glimpsed. Center expanded citywide. Fun national. Richard's company model for equity. Alex's shop franchised. Jamal walking aided, pride beaming. Richard and Angela walked hand in hand, sunset ignored for each other's gaze. Regret? None. Path led here. She squeezed. Here? Home. The anonymous watcher, Evelyn's lingering shadow, faded, replaced by light. Lesson etched. Blind traps destroy, but open eyes forge unbreakable bonds. Family isn't blood. It's choice, forged in fire, shining eternal. As they embraced, Jamal's laughter rang. Future bright, the rebuild complete, hope's flame undying. In the end, this story reminds us that snap judgments rooted in prejudice can shatter lives in trust. But truth, courage, and genuine redemption have the power to heal and rebuild stronger bonds. It's a powerful lesson. Always look beyond appearances, challenge your biases, and choose empathy over suspicion. Because real justice starts with seeing the humanity in everyone. What about you? Have you ever faced a misunderstanding that changed your perspective or overcome prejudice in your own life? Share your thoughts and stories in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you and spark some meaningful conversations. Thank you so much for watching and joining this journey with me. If you enjoyed it, hit that like button, subscribe for more inspiring tales, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.